Joe Rogan takes sides in Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds feud. Declares himself #Team Baldoni. Joe Rogan has officially weighed in on the escalating legal battle between Justin Baldoni and Hollywood power couple Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, and he's not holding back. On a recent episode of The Joe Rogan Experience, the popular podcaster declared himself firmly on Baldoni's side, stating that Lively and Reynolds ruined their reputation by pursuing a lawsuit against Baldoni. Rogan's commentary has added another layer of intensity to what is quickly becoming one of the most high-profile feuds in recent Hollywood history. The controversy stems from a lawsuit Baldoni filed against Lively, Reynolds, and their longtime publicist Leslie Sloan. Baldoni claims that the couple and their team engaged in defamation, extortion, and a smear campaign designed to damage his career and reputation. Lively, however, stands by her accusations that Baldoni harassed her and created a toxic environment on set, while Reynolds has reportedly been trying to distance himself from the fallout. Rogan, cat up. During his podcast, Rogan didn't mince words about how he feels Lively and Reynolds have handled the situation. Cat up, Rogan said bluntly. Ryan's trying to get out of it now. He's trying to get out of the lawsuit and they're like, you are a key part of this. Rogan's comments suggest that Reynolds is attempting to separate himself from the legal battle, but Lively and her team are making it difficult for him to walk away without consequences. Rogan brought up the complicated position Reynolds now finds himself in, being tied to a legal case that could expose damaging behind-the-scenes details about the couple's private life and professional dealings. Ryan's trying to play it cool, but it's not going to be that easy, Rogan said. Once you're named in a lawsuit, it's hard to just disappear from it. Brendan Schaub backs Baldoni. Rogan's guest, former MMA fighter and fellow podcaster Brendan Schaub, agreed that Baldoni's only real option at this point is to fight back aggressively in court. You gotta go hard in the paint, Schaub said, referring to the basketball term for playing with maximum effort and aggression. If they're going to come at you like that, you have no choice but to swing back. Rogan agreed with Schaub's assessment, adding that Baldoni's reputation as a sweet, nice guy has made the allegations against him even more shocking. Especially a guy like that who's known for being really sweet, nice guy, and then he's like, alright, enough, Rogan said. He's had enough of the Bulls, Baldoni's receipts. One of the most explosive elements of the case has been Baldoni's decision to publicly release evidence that he claims proves his innocence. This includes a website that outlines his version of events, along with text messages and behind-the-scenes footage that Baldoni says contradict Lively's claims. Rogan was particularly impressed by the evidence Baldoni has presented so far. You literally have a text exchange back and forth, Rogan said. They just never thought that anybody was going to come out with the receipts. One text message, which has raised eyebrows among fans and legal analysts alike, shows Lively allegedly inviting Baldoni into her trailer while she was pumping breast milk. Baldoni's team has argued that this exchange undermines Lively's claims of harassment and discomfort around Baldoni. It's one thing to make accusations, Rogan said, but when the other person comes back with hard proof that contradicts what you're saying, that's when it starts to unravel. The lawsuit, defamation, extortion, and smear campaign allegations. At the heart of the legal battle are Baldoni's allegations that Lively, Reynolds, and their publicist orchestrated a coordinated effort to damage his reputation and career. Baldoni's lawsuit accuses the trio of defamation, extortion, and intentionally spreading false information about him to industry insiders and the media. Baldoni's legal team argues that Lively and Reynolds used their powerful Hollywood connections to blacklist Baldoni and prevent him from securing future acting and directing opportunities. The suit claims that Leslie Sloan, as Lively and Reynolds' publicist, fed damaging stories to tabloids and entertainment journalists in an effort to paint Baldoni as a predator and a threat. Baldoni's team has pointed to the fallout from the allegations as evidence of the damage to his career. Since the accusations surfaced, Baldoni has reportedly lost multiple high-profile acting and directing opportunities, and several of his projects have been quietly shelved. This wasn't just a misunderstanding, a source close to Baldoni said. This was a calculated effort to destroy Justin's career and reputation. He's not going to let that slide. Lively stands her ground. Despite the mounting evidence and Rogan's public support for Baldoni, Lively remains steadfast in her accusations. Through her legal team, Lively has maintained that Baldoni's behavior on set was inappropriate and crossed professional boundaries. Lively's team has also suggested that Baldoni's decision to release private text messages and behind-the-scenes footage amounts to a form of retaliation and an attempt to intimidate Lively into dropping her claims. Blake is not backing down, a source close to Lively said. She stands by her truth, and she's prepared to fight this out in court. Reynolds trying to distance himself. While Lively appears prepared for a long legal battle, Reynolds' position remains more ambiguous. Sources close to Reynolds have indicated that he is frustrated by the situation and is exploring options to minimize his involvement in the case. Ryan didn't expect this to blow up the way it has, one insider said. He's trying to focus on his career and his family, but it's hard when you're being dragged into a high-profile lawsuit like this. Rogan, however, suggested that Reynolds' attempts to distance himself may not succeed. Ryan might want out, but once you're part of the case, you're part of the case, Rogan said. There's no easy exit from something like this. A trial date set for 2026. With tensions escalating and both sides digging in, the case is expected to head to trial in March 2026. Legal experts have predicted that the trial could be lengthy and highly publicized, with both sides prepared to present damaging evidence and testimony. Baldoni's legal team has already indicated that they will call multiple witnesses, including former co-stars and industry insiders, to testify about Lively and Reynolds' alleged campaign to blacklist Baldoni. Lively's team, meanwhile, is reportedly preparing to present its own evidence of Baldoni's alleged misconduct. Rogan's decision to publicly side with Baldoni could further complicate the case, especially if other Hollywood figures follow suit. Joe's got a huge platform, one entertainment lawyer said. Him coming out in support of Baldoni could shift public opinion, and that could influence how the case plays out in court. A Hollywood feud for the ages. As the case heads toward trial, Hollywood insiders are bracing for a potentially explosive showdown. Baldoni's willingness to fight back and Rogan's vocal support have already made the case one of the most talked about stories in the entertainment world. This is going to get messy, Rogan predicted. But sometimes you have to go through the mud to get to the truth.